Hi, my name is Naya Teresita Gaines, and this is the Iron Tigers Wrestling Foundation Capstone project. This deck covers 6 sections: our needs assessment, logic model, program design, evaluation plan, stakeholder engagement strategy, and my professional reflection. The Iron Tigers Wrestling Foundation is a startup nonprofit in Ellis County, Kansas, built around one core belief: that drive and potential should determine a young wrestler's path, not income. We start where every strong program should start, with the community. Before designing anything, I needed to understand what barriers actually exist for youth wrestlers with low income and whether those barriers were real or assumed. This section walks through the needs assessment methodology, what I found, and how it connects to existing research. The needs assessment survey reached 12 participants across 5 states. It consisted of coaches, parents, and current or former wrestlers. It's a small sample, but the findings were consistent and clear. 100% of the participants agreed that access to resources directly improves athletic and academic outcomes, and financial strain was named the number one barrier unanimously across every respondent category. The 4 barriers you see here: gear, tournaments, off-season training, and mentorship, aren't separated problem. They compound. A family that can't afford gear can't enter tournaments. A kid who can't travel can't access elite training. A wrestler with no mentor doesn't know there are options beyond Division 1. The barriers stack. What the data told us was confirmed by the people living it. One participant wrote that they wished a mentor had explained to them, you don't have to go D1. There are other divisions such as JUCO or NAIA. It assumed that one has to be of an elite talent to go to college for wrestling and achieve an education. That one quote captures the entire informational gap the foundation is designed to close. The research backs this up. Kirana and colleagues found that athletes with fewer resources face structurally disproportionate obstacles to training and competition. This also translates to mentorship and attaining higher education through the means of wrestling. Mirzanov's work on girls wrestling found that participation gaps emerge from cost, limited exposure, and absent mentorship, conditions that apply equally to low-income wrestlers regardless of their gender. Bottom line, the inequities in youth wrestling come from both resource gaps and information gaps. We address both. Now that we know the problem, we need a clear picture of how the Iron Tigers Wrestling Foundation creates change. The logic model is the bridge between the need and the program. It makes the theory of change explicit and testable. The logic model follows the standard chain. Inputs lead to activities which produce outputs, which drive outcomes. The mission banner at the top anchors everything. Our inputs include funding, coaches, mentors, admin support, facilities, the transportation van, and community partnerships. Those resources fuel 4 activities: financial assistance, off-season clinics, near-peer mentorship, and community outreach. The outputs are countable: number of athletes served, dollars dispersed, sessions held, check-ins completed, and the outcomes are phased. Short term, we see enrollment and gear access go up. Midterm, the program will see skill, confidence, and academic engagement improve. Long term, there will be a greater equity in who competes, who graduates, and who the foundation is recognized as in the community. The model is grounded in the W.K. Kellogg Foundation's Logic Model Framework and the Community Toolbox template. The logic model tells us what should happen. The implementation plan tells us how. This section covers our 4 program activities, the evidence based behind each one, a 3-year budget plan, and a phased implementation timeline. Every activity in this program is grounded in a recognized framework. Activity 1. Financial assistance draws on asset-based community development principles and youth sport equity models. Activity 2. Off-season training follows positive youth development principles and NSCA youth conditioning guidelines for adolescent athletes. So the dosage, frequency, and delivery format are evidence-informed. Activity 3. Mentorship and post-secondary planning is built on mentors' elements of effective practice and AVID's college access framework. Activity 4. Community outreach and fundraising applies Kania's and Kramer's collective impact model. One thing worth emphasizing, rather than charging a membership fee, athletes participate in fundraising and community service to sustain the program. That model removes cost as a barrier while building character, civic identity, and the community investment simultaneously. For the 3-year budget and timeline, year 1 shows a deficit of $3,890. Will be operating in the negative. The primary driver is a one-time $22,000 capital investment in a pre-owned 15-passenger van. That van directly eliminates the number one barrier identified in the needs assessment. Or not number one, but one of the barriers identified in the need assessment, transportation. Rather than incurring recurring rental costs year after year, we make the investment once. Mitchell and Calabresi's 2018 research on nonprofit financial proverbs is instructive here. The Be Lean proverb pressures nonprofits to avoid capital investments to appear efficient, but that actually produces organizational fragility. We're choosing long-term soundness over short-term optics. By year 2, we project a surplus of $15,845 that goes directly towards building a 3-month operating reserve. By year 3, we're operating at $47,445 in total revenue with a positive operating income and scholarships fully launched. The timeline on the right shows the phased rollout, startup and intake first, then clinics, then mentorship and scholarship programming at full scale. A program is only as strong as its ability to learn and improve. This evaluation plan was designed not just to satisfy funder reporting requirements, but to actually answer the question, are we serving who we said we would serve, and is it working? The plan incorporates 4 evaluation types. Formative evaluation helps us course correct early. Process evaluation tracks fidelity. Did the program happen as designed? Outcome evaluation measures what actually changed, and participatory evaluation centers the voices of the people most affected, athletes, families, mentors, and partners, in shaping what we measure and how we interpret findings. The indicator matrix at the bottom maps every program activity to concrete process measures and outcome measures, financial assistance, clinics, mentorship, outreach. Every activity is visible in the data, and equity shapes what we choose to measure. We disaggregate by income level specifically to confirm that support is reaching the most constrained athletes, not just those easiest to serve. Evaluation data tells us what happened. Stakeholder feedback tells us what it meant and to whom. This section covers the foundation strategy for actively listening to and integrating the perspective of everyone the program touches. We have 4 primary stakeholder groups. Athletes and families participate in semi-annual surveys. paper or verbal, their choice, and an annual community meal for open conversation. Survey items are co-developed with current athletes to make sure we're asking the right questions in the right language. Community partners complete an annual feedback form and join quarterly 15-minute check-in calls. Mentors and coaches participate in semi-annual debriefs that informs onboarding and training updates, and they're recognized as evaluation contributors, not just volunteers. And starting in year 2, we establish a youth advisory circle, 4 to 6 athlete members who meet each semester, shape evaluation priorities, and are compensated with a stipend. That last piece matters. Compensating young people for their knowledge says clearly, your expertise has value. This is a structural commitment to youth voice, not a symbolic gesture. This final section is personal. Grant writing, I've learned, is not primarily a writing skill. It's a thinking skill as well. This reflection connects the work in this portfolio to what I have learned, how I grew, and where I'm headed as a professional. I began this program knowing I wanted to start a nonprofit. I'm finishing it by knowing how, that it's not a small thing. This portfolio took approximately 15 weeks from start to finish, and it required integrating needs assessment design, logic model development, implementation planning, evaluation frameworks, funder research, nonprofit financial strategy, and graduate level writing all at once. A few specific things shifted how I think. Mitchell and Calabresi's work on nonprofit financial proverbs reframed overhead, reserves, and debt as strategic tools rather than signs of mismanagement. And that changed how I built and communicated the budget. Learning that LinkedIn keyword searches combined with the word foundation are more effective than 990 searches for finding funders, or I wouldn't say more, but highly effective in comparison to when I was using 990 forms to find funders. And that was a practical breakthrough for me. And designing the enhanced evaluation plan pushed me to integrate every course learning outcome simultaneously. Participatory methods, ethics, system levels thinkings, cultural responsiveness. This proposal does not simply describe a program. It describes a community that deserves one. The Iron Tigers Wrestling Foundation is grounded in evidence, equity-centered in design, financially transparent, community-rooted in its model, and funder ready. I began this journey as a wrestler who needed a door opened. I'm building the organization that opens it for the next generation. Thank you.